In Turkey, there is a village where people don't talk, they whistle. Turns out, whistling can also be a language where every sound means something. To understand it, you need to train your ears and train your mouth. But why whistle in this village? See, the houses here are very far from each other. So before technology, when they wanted to talk, they had to scream, and over time, they realized it's just easier to whistle. But now people use WhatsApp to talk. That's why the language could die, and this village is trying to preserve it. They created an app just to teach the whistle language, so kids can continue this tradition for hundreds of years to come. Visit this village in Turkey. Trust me, you won't regret it. That's 1 minute!
In a small town in Turkey, we found the tallest woman in the world.
Hi nasdaily, my name is Rumeysa.
She's so tall that she can't fit into doors or cars. She is 2 meters 15 centimeters. That's like 2 people stacked on top of each other. When she was a baby, Rumeysa was diagnosed with Weaver's syndrome, which made her grow super tall, super fast, and even caused a curve in her spine. Because of it, she has to move around in this wheelchair and can only travel in this van. But Rumeysa is not ashamed of her height. She feels special because of it. She won 5 Guinness World Records. She uses her fame to educate millions of people about Weaver's syndrome. And she also has a job as a freelance programmer.
There is more to me than my height.
Rumeysa may be from a small town, but she is a big inspiration to all of us. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow.
Hi! If it isn't obvious by now, I don't change my t-shirt, do my hair, or wear any accessories. It's just my style. But I have just arrived to a place where people have a different style than mine that is much more beautiful. This country is called Turkey, and it's where men like me spend so much time to take care of their looks, young and old. They got the bracelets, rings, shoes, glasses, shirts, tattoos, beards, and hair. Everything fits together that's straight out of a magazine. Turkey is one of the most interesting places with unique food, culture, and people. Yes! This country is beautiful, and the people are too. That's 1 minute. I found a woman in Turkey who took things to the next level because she can turn anything in the world into a cake.
Merhaba nasdaily, ben Tuğba Geçkil. Herhangi bir şeyi pastaya dönüştürebilirim.
She took everyday objects like this plant or this coffee and turned them into an edible object that tastes sweet, like a cake. And soon enough, objects were not enough, so she started to work on people, celebrities, politicians, and even food cakes, and even COVID cakes. With Tuba, anything can be a cake, and her cakes can cost you anywhere between $100 to $10,000. At the end of the day, very few people buy a cake for the taste. They just buy it for the look or for the celebration. So they might as well buy a cake that looks good and tastes good. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. I found the tallest man in the world.
Hi, my name is Sultan.
He's so tall, he cannot fit into doors, or beds, or even cars. He's 2 meters 51 centimeters. That's like 2 people stacked on top of each other. At age 10, doctors found a tumor in his brain that made him grow taller and taller, and because of it, he couldn't go to normal school. He needed a cane to walk, and he couldn't even stand for more than 30 minutes. But for Sultan, his body is not a curse.
My body is a gift from God.
Sultan has a Guinness World Record, but he also has a big heart. He shows us that no matter what life throws at you, with a smile, you can turn anything into a blessing. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. Let's see. After visiting 50 countries and more than 300 cities, the city that surprised me the most is Istanbul! And it's all because of this. Cats. This is the city where 17,000 people signed a petition to remember the death of a cat. This is it. This is the city where cat food, water, and homes are everywhere. It's where you'll see mosques with cats inside of them and people caring for cats for over
20 years.
In other countries, they have cat cafes, but in Istanbul, every cafe is a cat cafe. We should judge cities not based on their old buildings or hip cafes or fancy streets, but by the way they treat their most vulnerable members, the animals. And in Istanbul, they are part of the family.
That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow.
Meet Fethi and Yanis.
Hi. We are almost killing each other.
This is the incredible story of Fethi and Yanis, who almost killed each other without even knowing each other. 44 years ago, Yanis served in the Greek army, and on his last day in the army, he was called to battle. And in that battle, Yanis was shot in the head by Fethi in the Turkish army.
I thought I killed him, but I survived.
Yanis went to the hospital and lived, and 34 years later, he wrote about his story in a book. That book made its way to Fethi, and to his surprise, the same guy he shot was alive. He called up Yanis asking for forgiveness, and Yanis forgave him. Political conflict in Cyprus made these two guys fight in a war, but now they're fighting for something better. Peace.
That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow.